Hey guys, it has been forever since I've hung out with you. It has been forever since I've hung out with you, and you have no idea how happy I am to be filming even this like super simple video that I just filmed. In this video, I have actually been asked during the time that I've been away from YouTube, I've had people say like, have you ever filmed yourself doing makeup? Because it's a weird thing that you're somebody who's into makeup that you've never filmed yourself doing makeup. And when I was thinking about doing this life update video, I was sort of like, that's an interesting idea. I should do makeup while I film myself. And it worked and it didn't work at the same time. I kind of forgot about all the products and I kind of went on a little rant, but if you'd like to see how I got this look, and if you'd like to listen to me ramble for like however long this video is to learn about what's been going on, where I've been, what I've been doing, and what's going to happen, stay tuned. Okay, so I will talk a little bit about the products I'm using step by step for those of you who care. It's probably none of you. But yes, I know the lighting is terrible in this video. I've never filmed in this room before, and I've never filmed myself doing makeup, so this probably won't be the most visually appealing video, but it's necessary because we have a lot to talk about. Alright, so I'm going to go in with a little bit of Urban Decay Primer Potion. So as you guys probably remember, back in the summer of 2023, I had posted like an announcement, like a really abrupt announcement on my channel, basically saying, hey, I need to step back for a while. I'm having some really serious medical issues at the moment and I just need to step back and focus on my health. So what had happened with that was that earlier in the year, there was a respiratory virus going around my workplace. No, it was not COVID-19. It was some other respiratory illness that was going around. And a bunch of my coworkers were getting it. So I'm just gonna go in with my Glaminatrix palette and I'm gonna use the shade Ornate. So a bunch of my coworkers were getting this. I hadn't gotten it until right at the end, before we had a break, like a few weeks break, that we were going to have. And I had planned on going on a vacation anyway that time. And I had gotten the respiratory illness, and it was horrible. I literally sounded like Filthy Frank. I could not talk for 2 weeks. I was horribly ill and sick. And my coworkers who had gotten sick with this had all done the smart thing, and they had gone to doctors to get these things called antibiotics for this illness. For whatever reason, I chose not to get antibiotics for it. I thought that I could handle it. I thought that I would just have it pass through me and I would be fine. I didn't think that was necessary. Well, that was a huge mistake. So I, like I said, was really sick for 2 weeks. And then I proceeded to go on my vacation, like down to Virginia to see an old friend, regardless of the fact that I was sick. And what had happened was I was feeling better for a few days, like throughout that week that I had my vacation, just going in my Charlotte Tilbury palette. And so I thought I was getting better. And then on the last day of my vacation, I got really, really sick again. And this was the point where I actually decided to go see a doctor about this. And when I went to go see the doctor, they had given me a few rounds of antibiotics and they were not doing freaking anything. Like the antibiotics I was taking were like sugar pills. I was not getting better. And this was obviously starting to terrify me. They decide that something is wrong. They're like, there's something wrong going on with you. The fact that these antibiotics aren't doing anything and you're otherwise young and healthy means there's something else at play here. And what I hadn't thought of at the time was that leading up to me getting this respiratory illness, I had been having fainting spells that were like really spaced out. So basically what would happen was like, I would really abruptly get very lightheaded and dizzy and nauseous and I would pass out. And this had been happening for maybe a year. And it was happening in a way where there would be like months in between each fainting spell. So it took me a long time to actually recognize that pattern of like, there's probably something actually wrong with your body. It's not that you're just like dehydrated or tired, like there's something actually going on right now. And so given that information that I told them, I essentially had to go on a massive medical roller coaster, which was horrible, where I basically had to go to an endocrinologist to make sure there was nothing wrong with me hormonally, a cardiologist to make sure there was nothing wrong with my blood circulation that was making me faint, a neurologist to make sure that I didn't have a freaking brain tumor, and to get an MRI. And all of the tests that I would get would come back clear. Like, it would come back that, like, maybe this hormone level is, like, ever so slightly elevated, but it's not elevated in a way that is concerning. Or your MRI is completely clear, like you're completely neurologically fine and what have you. And so I was frustrated because I went through all of these painful exams, like whether it was sitting in the machine to get the brain scan, whether it was for the endocrinologist, like I had to get my blood drawn at like 5 o'clock in the morning, like 3 different times. Like, it was ridiculous. So I was frustrated because I was going through all of this just to find out that there's nothing wrong with me. And even if that's theoretically a good thing, right? You don't want to get some horrible diagnosis. It's still frustrating where it's like, okay, if it's not this, if it's not this, if it's not that, then what the hell is wrong with me? Like, what is it that I have? And we basically went through all of these tests just to find out that I have a sensitive vagus nerve. Now, the vagus nerve is a nerve that I don't know very, very much about, but we all have one. And it gets aggravated by stress. And essentially what we found out is that, I've mentioned to you before on this channel that I have real, not Twitter, not Tumblr. I know those are dead websites now, but not back in the good ancient days of the internet. I'm not one of these people who says I have PTSD and I don't actually mean it. No, it's real. And as somebody with post-traumatic stress disorder, what can happen to the vagus nerve, and it's also true just for people who have like autism in general like I do, it can aggravate the nerve in such a way that it becomes like hypersensitive, where it tends to overreact to things that really aren't that big of a freaking deal. And so what we found out was, because I wasn't seeking treatment for my post-traumatic stress disorder, my body wasn't healing the way that it was supposed to from this illness. I had put myself under so much physical stress and so much psychological stress that my body wasn't in a position to fight off an infection that was that serious by itself, which it probably shouldn't have tried. I should have tried doing that to begin with. But even with antibiotics, it wasn't going the way that it should, and it was because of all the stress I was putting my body through. So that was the moment where I decided that I needed to take a break from the channel, because I was like, I'm obviously not in a good physical space. I'm obviously not mentally well, and I need to do what is right for myself. I need to get back into doing EMDR therapy through the PTSD. I need to confront major things in my life. And it took me, I want to say like a solid year, as insane as that sounds, to fully recover from this illness. Like, it actually took me like a full year to feel normal again for the most part. And during that time of being so sick and uncertain of everything that was going on, I decided that it was very important for my psychological and physical well-being that I did more tangible things in my physical life to enact the change that I want to see. Because I talk all the time on this channel about how I want the world to be a better place for people with autism. I've done autism awareness work my whole life, all these different things. And I had decided that I needed to do something more tangible than YouTube to really get the emotional clarity and relief that I needed. I needed to feel like progress was happening in that dream for me to feel more at peace. So the first year of me leaving YouTube was me just trying to deal with this whole medical freaking roller coaster that I had, or I was fainting all the time for seemingly no reason. And I had to confront that. And then after the fact, I decided that I needed to do something to bring those dreams to reality. So I spent the next 2 years really focused on doing different things in my community, on networking. I wrote a whole paper about autism and mass violence that I actually shared around to a few different researchers, and I got a very positive response, believe it or not, from some of the academics that I shared this extremely retarded and autistic paper that I wrote with. So that was pretty amazing. That felt great to have people understand the perspective that I was sharing in that paper, and to have them give me a positive response and see that vision of compassion that I had in the paper that I wrote. So that was very relieving. And in addition to everything that was going on, I guess you could say, professionally, in addition to the medical aspect of it, I had a lot of things going on personally. So before I left YouTube, I had ended my 6-year-long relationship with who's played Hannibal Lecter on this channel and a couple other people on this channel. So I had to leave that relationship. So I was single, I was alone, I was trying to make my way in the world. I had moved back to New York. I had been through so much, and that's really what the cause of all that medical stuff was I had just gone through way too much. And in my personal life, eventually, I ended up meeting my fiance, if you can see the ring. There we go. I ended up meeting my fiance, and I'm getting married next month. So that's another thing. It's been the biggest roller coaster in the world. It's been horrible, horrible downs of being practically bedridden sick. Like, it was, my breathing was so affected, like, to the point that, like, I felt like I could barely do household tasks. I mean, it really was that bad. It went from that to, I'm gonna realize my dreams, to I'm gonna get married. I mean, it was like so much stuff was happening. I also adopted 2 cats, not at the same time. I moved into my new place with him recently. That's this new space that we're filming in with horrible lighting. It's just been beyond any level of a roller coaster. And the one thing I have to say is that throughout all of it, there hasn't been a single point that I haven't missed you guys. Like, filming videos and having that as a creative outlet for me is so special to me and so personal to me. And so it's been really, really hard being away from it, because when I was filming those videos for you all, like when I was doing Watch Listed and, threat assessment and all those videos, I really felt like I was on this roll and I was having so much fun and I was really enjoying doing all of that with you. And even like the live streams I did with Randy the Wild Horse and Kino Corner and stuff like that. I was having such a good time. So it really hurt to let that go. It was really, really hard for me to make that decision that I needed to take that time for myself, but I had to. And in some ways it sucks because I feel like the channel kind of suffered for it, like I was finally starting to kind of grow a little bit and things are really going in a certain direction. And then I had to cut everything immediately. And it was like, now I lost a lot of progress. Like, I still maintained like around the same amount of subscribers, but it's like I lost progression that I could have made on here just because of all that time that I had to spend away. And so it's just an unfortunate thing. And it also sucks because one of the things I have to address that I really never addressed is the fact that I know that my videos, like especially I'm thinking of Watch Listed in particular, like I know that they have no comprehensible plot at all. And that was never my intention, was for them to be so disjointed and strange in that way. Like, I originally had a more clear idea of like where the story was going and things like that. But really, it was because I was going through so much with recovering from the pandemic and my relationship and feeling stuck. That's a huge thing in my videos, feeling stuck about my dream of helping people like me not really going anywhere, where a lot of it was coming out through my writing. I needed an outlet for all of that pain and all of that stress. And so I used my channel as a method of doing that because that was really all I had at the time. And it produced really incoherent and like weird writing and weird symbolism and visuals. Like it created this really strange series that Watch Listed is, but it's what I needed it to be. And when I finally come back with a new episode of that, I don't think that that is necessarily going to change very much, because like, I don't have these people anymore in my life, right? I broke up with my ex. I still talk to some of the internet friends that I had, but it's like, I don't have access to the same shooting environments, the same people, right? Like, so I have to really, really think about where this series is going to go as far as like, what am I going to do? And I honestly want it to continue being just like this weird diary of like this mentally ill woman, because that's what it is. It's really, YouTube to me, in my opinion, is a place for really weird mentally ill people to release their bizarre interests and their creativity in a way that is constructive for them. Like, YouTube is this weird place where it's like you find someone's YouTube channel and it's like you find like this miniature DSM of like their psychology, of all of the different things that are affecting them psychologically, and that's part of what makes it cool and interesting. So honestly, like, I don't think I'm ever going to go back to that original plan that I had in mind. I think I'm just going to keep it the way that it is. I know that my next topic is going to be pretty intense. I'm going to cover some pretty emotional stuff in that one. I have plenty of ideas for threat assessments that I'm going to film. That's a very clear one that I have in mind, with a bunch of different ideas that I can do for that. I have to figure out like the filming situation for that, because it's like, I have no freaking lighting in this room. Like, I have no set. It's like I had like a cool like setup in my old apartment down in San Diego where everything looked like really luminous and bright and pretty, and I had all my cool little stuff, and it's like I don't have that here in this house that we have. Like, so it's like I have to figure out like, how am I gonna film this, you know? But I definitely have all the ideas. I know exactly what I want to do. It's really just about sitting down and doing it. And I really can't stress enough how much it means to me that on some level you guys are still here. Like, I couldn't help myself. The other day I was out shopping and I was having like this weird epiphany with the goblins like not showing up, which I did see a goblin after I filmed that video. I went into TJ Maxx and I did see a goblin. But it was like I filmed that video and I was like, do I really need to post this? Like, is this relevant? Like, what am I doing? And it's like, I just couldn't help myself. It's like, I just miss being here with you. I miss interacting with you. I miss having fun. I miss our stupid inside jokes. I miss just the back and forth. Even if this channel is so tiny, you know, it's just getting to have fun with people who get my sense of humor and care about the things that I care about morally is so much fun, and it's so important to me. So it means so much to me that you guys are still floating around, like you guys are still here in some level. And I hope you guys are as excited for me to come back as I am excited to come back. You know, it's something that I've been thinking about ever since I left, how much I wanted to come back. And like I said, it hurt me to see all of that kind of go away, because I really felt like I was on this incline. I felt like I was on this rise, and it made me so happy. But I know that the YouTube landscape has also changed quite a bit in some ways. Like, it's like a lot of the people that I hung out with maybe aren't as like relevant anymore. Some people even argue that the topics that I cover in my videos are less relevant, which is a big plot point of what I'm going to talk about in the new watch listed. But I don't think that that's necessarily true. I feel like there's always going to be, in human civilization, no matter what is going on, there's always going to be this little community of weird, autistic, schizo people who are outcasted by society and need a place to talk about that pain and that suffering. And I feel like we have a right to that creative expression of that pain. And I feel like YouTube and other internet forums is the place where we get to do that. So I feel like no matter what happens, like even if it's like Monkey Jones like won't even freaking put on like the mask, like he won't even like film himself in the mask for a video, even if Eggy doesn't do Egg Wars anymore, which I miss Egg Wars. I miss that so much. I wish he would tell stories again like that. They were so much fun. Even if these things really aren't like around anymore, it's the principle is the same of we are these people who spiritually, at least in my case, are more conservative. We are these weird, autistic, outcasted people who carry all of this pain and this suffering as we go through life trying to build our lives, right? We're trying to find husbands and wives in this hyper-sexualized, incel-focused world where nobody cares about us. You know, we're these people who are trying to make it economically in a world that is run by this evil, satanic government. We're these mentally ill people who've never really been respected or seen as human. And we need this type of online space to work our way through all of that. We need somewhere to go, and I feel like I'm very happy to have a channel that focuses on these weird topics. There's a couple of channels that I've found over like the time that I've been gone, like what's the one that I'm thinking of? Rehab Room, I think is what it's called. He makes really cool stuff. He makes really good like incel videos. Like he made one about women in the workforce recently that was really cool and interesting. So he makes like really good like incel core, whatever, if you think that's a cringe term. He makes like really good like incel core videos, and you guys would probably like him a lot. So you should check out Rehab Room. Like I said, I wish Eddie would bring back Egg Wars because it was so much fun to listen to. But yeah, like, you can still find people who talk about these things, but it's not in the same capacity as it once was, and I don't think it's because it's any less relevant. Like I told you, like, that community is always going to be there. I think it's just because people really aren't passionate anymore. I feel like ever since the pandemic, people kind of lost their creative inspiration, and it's like people never really bounced back. Like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way about how, like, pandemic depression has, like, completely overtaken people's psychology in such a way that I feel like they still live like we're in this, like, freaking Fallout New Vegas, like, Dead Space post-apocalyptic society. And it's like, it almost feels like you have to remind people, like, you can be happy again. Like, you can do stuff again with your life. Like, you don't have to be, like, sitting here miserable all the time. It's like you have to tell people, like, we're out of the pandemic. Like, we can do what the hell we want now. It's, like, so weird. Like, one of the biggest things I've noticed is, like, fashion. And I don't know if any of you have kind of seen this with, like, Gen Z people, because I'm, like, a young millennial, so to speak, type of person, like 96. And, like, one of the things I've noticed is, like, you go out in public and nobody wears, like, real clothes anymore. Everybody dresses like they're on, like, a terrible Zoom meeting. Like, everybody dresses in, like, loungewear all the time. Like, I feel like you hardly ever see young people in jeans. Like, they're almost always in sweatpants, a t-shirt, a big baggy sweatshirt. Like, they dress the way that you do when you're, like, a depressed teenager or, like, you're sick or something. It's this weird thing, and it's, like, it's weird how they, like, try to, like, rebrand it as, like, fashion. It's just so strange to me. And I don't really know what to make of that. And another one that's weird that I've noticed, and, like, you guys, like I said, by the way, I completely forgot to even mention the products that I'm using. I'm sorry. I'm too busy talking about the actual things that I'm supposed to be talking about in this video. So that's going great. But with makeup, like, that's another thing, like, with women, like, younger girls, like, girls who are in their, like, early 20s, right? Like, I just turned 30. That's another thing that happened. I just turned 30. So I noticed that, like, the makeup that they do is so minimalistic in the most, like, depressing way possible. Like, I know that, like, men, especially in this space, are very critical of makeup. Like, I'm sure I'm gonna receive some element of criticism for even, like, filming this video. But what men don't really understand is that for women, makeup is a form of feminine expression that's, like, really innate to us, right? Like, it's not something that we just, like, we don't do it with the intention of distorting our appearances or anything. Like, I know that you guys think that, but that's really not the reason why we do it. It's just a form of feminine expression. And one of the things that people talk about in psychology is they say that women who don't take the time to do things like their makeup or their hair or to put on like a decent outfit, like you don't have to be like this super high fashion chick, obviously, but they say that that's a sign of depression when a woman isn't, you know, throwing on some mascara or like doing things like that. They say that it's a sign of depression. And I feel like that makeup trend that I see in these younger women, to me, is a symptom of the pandemic. Like it's this ripple effect, like in our fashion, the way that we dress, and in the makeup that we do, where it's like you're constantly presenting yourself like you're this miserable, locked in, like quarantined person who's sitting on like a miserable Zoom meeting for school or like for your work. Like it's like nobody wants to be colorful anymore. Nobody wants to be creative anymore. Nobody wants to be fun anymore. And even in some ways, I feel like that's still going on YouTube. Like we lost Filthy Frank to being like a freaking hipster Brooklynite douchebag, right? Like this like stupid rapper who it's like nobody even, it's so funny when you hear people talk about Joji and they have no idea who Filthy Frank is. Like, is that not like the funniest thing ever? But it's like we lost Filthy Frank to being like a Brooklynite hipster rapper douchebag. We lost iDubbbz to Anissa Joma and just like liberal cucktry whoredom nonsense, right? So we lost Filthy Frank, we lost iDubbbz. Max Mofo and Chad are still going with Cold Ones. Cold Ones is a very good show. But it's like we lost these people, and it's like nobody picked up the mantle, you know what I mean? Like nobody came back and really tried to like film stuff that was cool and fun like they used to. And like you can sit here and you can blame YouTube, like what is it, like the adpocalypse or whatever nonsense people like to blame. But I'm just like, that's not really even the point. It's about being fun, you know, like it's about being creative and fun and funny and filming something that people in this niche audience really want to enjoy and really want to see. Like even with like Sam Hyde, like he still makes some cool stuff on occasion. Like Monkey stuff occasionally is good. Like even as like a super Christian person, like I can still watch like his like History of Humanity series or like little things that he does. I hated the Medea thing. I'm super not into the Medea series, but like you can still find stuff on YouTube that's decent to watch. But it's like nobody has the same aura, like the same energy that they once did. And like I said, you can blame that on problems with like the adpocalypse and things like that. You can say that all you want, but I just feel like part of it also is just a lack of motivation of people being bored and uncreative and lazy and cringe and just not wanting to do anything cool anymore. Like I don't entirely believe that it's just because of like ad issues or like censorship issues. Like I feel like it's also just people being gay and cringe and not wanting to film fun stuff anymore. So it's just, I don't know, I feel like nobody is really here to carry YouTube afloat, or anybody's really here to keep the legacy going, and I just don't really understand why that is. Like, I know the creative minds are out there to do it, I just don't understand why people are doing it. Like, I'm not that funny. I could never replace Filthy Frank. I could never replace freaking World Peace on Adult Swim, whatever. Like, I could never do that. I'm not that funny at all. But it's like, I'm still out here trying the best that I can, you know? So I don't know if you guys feel the same way, where you feel like there's this pandemic cloud, like this dark, negative cloud over everything that just won't go away, and people won't just snap out of it. It's like they won't just start doing cool, fun, interesting things again. And I just don't understand why that is. I just don't get it. I really just don't. But like I said, I don't think that I'm the person who's gonna bring it back. Like when I say these things, it's not me being a dick where I'm saying like my content was so great, I'm so funny. That's not what the hell I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's so many people out here that could be and should be doing things, and it's like they just won't get back into it. And it's like, I guess I can't blame you, like, if you don't feel like doing stuff anymore. Like, it's up, you know, you have to have the passion, it's up to you. But I'm frustrated by the lack of entertainment that I feel like I have on the internet. Like, I just feel like we're losing that edge, right? Where people left mainstream television to come to the internet because the stuff people were making was so much cooler and so much funnier than the stuff that you could get on TV. And now it's like everybody is just so timid or so boring and just like so unmotivated. And I feel like you can blame like Susan and whoever like the Indian guy who runs this website is now. You can blame them for that a little bit, but you can't sit here and like act like you can't let them rob you of your creative spark and your happiness and your energy and just blame it entirely on them. Like, part of this is you. Like, you as an artist need to defend your right. Like, you need to defend your right to make the jokes you want, to create the art that you want, to send the type of message that you want. And you can't just like let them overtake you like that. You can't just let them win and then claim that you're this like ha 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 like edgy free speech comedian, or like that you're this like cool edgy conservative type person who's like spitting the facts and the truth against the libs or whatever nonsense. Like, you can't act like this person and then be this boring and disinterested and unmotivated. Like, you can't just be this type of person. It just frustrates me. It annoys me. But who, like, if you could bring back YouTubers that you loved, like, who would you bring back? I know I would definitely rescue iDubbbz. Like, I still miss some of his old videos all the time. Like, I would definitely rescue iDubbbz. I don't need to rescue Max Mofo. Like I said, he's still doing fine with his boy Chad filming, you know, cold ones. I don't think I need to rescue Filthy Frank. I'm more so just like, you ended your show, it was fine, you wrote your book, but like, did you have to become this mainstream and gay about it? And did you have to be such a dick to your fans when you left? Like, I'll let him be. I'll let him be cringe by himself. But like, who do you miss? I mean, obviously, there's an elephant in the room that I haven't addressed yet in this video because I don't know how to talk about it. And it's also just that, like, my heart isn't capable of handling it. Like, when I found out that CF died, I started crying. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is not real. I was like, this is some freaking troll psyop. Like, this is not freaking real. This man is not dead. Like, this is not real. There's even like this weird piece of my heart that like still can't believe it. That's still like, even after like I sent my condolences to his mom, it's like there's this piece of me that is just like, how do we know that this is real? It doesn't feel real to me because he's still such a lively person. Even when he wasn't filming videos, it's like he was still such a part of my vernacular with all of like the dumb inside jokes that we had in that Common Filth community and all those things like that. He's still such an inspiration to me that it's like I can't process at all the fact that he's gone. I just can't process it. And I would bring him back 1000% because truly, and I know I talked about people like taking up mantles and doing the right thing and things like that. There's nothing truly like him. Like, there's not a single person on this earth that I think could ever replicate Common Filth. And I guess people are not replaceable. I should have mentioned that. But it's like, you can fill a void with certain people. Like, when I think about when I was a little kid, growing up watching, you know, Viva La Bam and Jackass, who filled that void for me when I got older, right? After Viva La Bam and Jackass, you had Filthy Frank, you had iDubbbz when they would make like the human cake videos and stuff like that. And that kind of filled that edgy void of like weird, gross comedy that I needed, right? But with somebody like CF, he had such a unique perspective on things and such a unique way of communicating and expressing himself that it's like, I truly don't think that there is a person who could ever take up that mantle. I don't think that anybody could ever fill that void that CF has left behind. And that really crushes me because we're never gonna get somebody like him again. And I don't know if you guys would feel the same way, but I feel the same way about Jim, like Mr. Medicare, where it's like watching a Jim stream or a Jim video, again, it's one of those things where it's such a unique experience where Jim has such he has such knowledge and experience using the internet. Like, he's observed so many different cultural trends and so many evolutions of the internet, and he just has such a unique way of delivering his perspective, like just such a unique way of being so like on the spot funny with things and so interesting with the things that he talks about, that again, just like CF, I don't think anybody could ever replace Mr. Medicare. Like, nobody could replace Jim. Nobody can replace CF. It's this heartbreaking thing to me, where it's like you have to come to terms with the fact that like this internet renaissance, even the remaining people that we have, like we still will occasionally get like a cool stream from Jim, or we'll still occasionally get like a decent video from some people, like JonTron. Okay, I can't believe I never mentioned JonTron. You still will get like a total freaking banger from JonTron on occasion, right? But it's this painful reality of like this internet renaissance that I loved so much as a teenager, that inspired me so much, that I wanted to participate in so much, is not there anymore. And you can say, like I said, you can say it's Susan, it's the internet, it's the internet censorship, all this stuff, it's whoever the Indian guy is. But it's like, a lot of it is also you. Just you being disinterested and unmotivated and just having a lack of will to do cool, fun, creative things. And I feel like what we need to do, like I was saying before, is we need to snap out of this pandemic, like, pacified mindset where we just sit here in our sweatpants every day and we don't put on nice clothes, right? We don't put on nice clothes. We don't do our makeup. We don't do, like, we need to get out of this state where we're just letting, like, the elites make us depressed and miserable all the time. Because that's, like, one of the things, and, like, people talk about this, especially with CF when he passed away, which I'm sorry if I didn't communicate this well enough before. God rest his soul. He was such a wonderful friend to all of us. May he rest in peace, and my condolences go out to anyone who was closer to him than I was. But even in that context, it's like, what the heck was I saying? But I was saying that, like, we need to get out of this passive mindset. And, oh yeah, now I remember what I was talking about. So I feel like when you become this, like, person who's, like, really into, like, these, like, really true, like, very true, right-wing conspiracy theories, right? All these things like that. Like, people said this about CF, like, Null from Kiwi Farms. So he's another one, like Josh from Kiwi Farms. He'll still do, like, really good Mad at the Internet streams and stuff like that. But, like, he was saying when CF died that it's like the abyss stares back, right? And one of the things that can happen to you if you're a person who watches, like, so much of this, like, dark, edgy stuff all the time, and you expose yourself to things like that all the time, is it can turn you into this really depressed person, where you start to feel like Bill Gates is gonna poison us with ticks, like, all of this stuff that, like, I'm reading on, like, Instagram about, like, the frickin', whatever it is, alpha B thing with the red meat allergy, or like Lyme disease, and like how he's making a Lyme disease vaccine, how he just wants to stop us from eating red meat. Like, you see all this stuff, right? And it can turn you into this depressed person where it's like you feel like there's no reason for you to do anything. Like, you feel like there's no reason for me to make videos when Susan and the Indian guy are just gonna take it down. There's no reason for me to stream today when no one's gonna watch. There's no reason for me to sit in my room and film myself doing makeup for no apparent reason and just talk about my 500 sub channel that I haven't been on in years. Like, you get this freaking mindset where you become this, like, immobile person, like, who doesn't freaking do anything. And I feel like that's one of the really negative side effects of all of the knowledge that we've gained about all of these things, especially since the pandemic. Even the normies, right? The normies have really woken up, like, since the pandemic. The normies know a lot more than they used to know back in the day. But it's like you have to learn how to psychologically separate that stuff. And, like, that's one of the biggest criticisms I would give people in our sphere, is you can't become this person who is just freaking depressed all the time, like, so, like, black-pilled, so to speak, that it's like you won't even, like, do anything fun and cool anymore. Like, you can't become that type of person. And Like, even for example with the tick thing, like, I hate them. I'm terrified of ticks. But I'm still gonna, like, enjoy nature. Like, fuck Bill Gates. Like, I don't care about Bill Gates. Like, he can suck my dick. Like, I'm just saying, like, when it comes to your creativity especially, you have to fight for it. And I feel like people aren't fighting for it. And while it's true that we may have lost some people who are absolutely irreplaceable, I just feel like it's not the proper way to go about things. Like, we can't just be this, like, stagnant people who just rely entirely on, like, Sam Hyde or, like, whoever are the remaining people left. Like, we have to, if we have the creativity and the means, like, you've got a camera, like, put it on, like, do something fun. I'm sure this video has been very boring and ranty and stupid and means absolutely nothing to any of you, but it's just like, I'm trying to say that we have to revive this. Like, we as the creative people have to do our due diligence, and we have to bring this back to where we want it to be, right? We can't just rely on JonTron posting, like, once every year. Like, we can't freaking rely on that. We can't be like, CF is gone, we've lost the battle, which I'm not saying, like, people are saying that. But we can't have this type of mindset. Like, I'm sure that you understand, like, somebody out there has to understand my frustration with this. Like, somebody has to understand how I feel, in the sense that I just feel like no one is willing to fight for this anymore. It's like we all have this big talk about how, like, we love edgy comedy, we love horror, we love, you know, our conservative points of view that we want to share. We want to, you know, reshape souls and lead them to Christ. Like, we say all this stuff, and then, like, nobody actually does anything about it. And it just frustrates me, where I'm like, because I was, even before when I was talking about trying to do things in your real life, it's in your real life and it's on the online space. Like, I had to take a break from the online space stuff for a while, but it's like, you need to talk about it. It's not gonna go anywhere. You're not gonna achieve anything if you just sit here being miserable about it all the time. And I just feel like so many people, like, they talk about, like, the silent majority, right? Where it's like you have all these people who really love, like, that dark humor that's, like, politically incorrect and nobody respects it anymore. Like, you have people out there, like, you know, behind closed doors that people think these jokes are funny, right? Like, you know that, right? But you have to be willing to be edgy and to say it. Like, you have to be willing to make the joke, to break that layer of ice and make things less awkward. You have to be willing to stand up for the gospel of Jesus Christ and what is true. Like, you have to be willing to fight for these things in the communities that you're a part of. And I feel like the problem is, ever since the pandemic, is people just don't freaking care. People just don't put that type of effort into things anymore. So I don't know, if you could bring back YouTubers, who would you bring back? I think we all know Common Filth. We would 1000% bring him back. God bless him. May he rest in peace. But, like, what, if you could change things about the way things are, like, what is it that you would change? Do you guys agree with me about all the pandemic depression psychology stuff? Do you feel like people are in this weird, like, permanent state of, like, misery that they just won't snap out of, even though they have, it's like The Silence of the Lambs, like the freaking movie I reference all the time, one of my favorite movies, where the gate is open, the lambs just won't run. Like, is it like that? Like, what do you guys think about that? I think it's time I get into a little bit about what I'm gonna do with this channel. I said to you all before that with the channel, I know that I'm gonna keep going in with watch listed and threat assessment, but they're never gonna have a coherent story. Like I just told you before, I'm a freaking psycho, and that's what these videos are gonna be. It's gonna be me being a schizo, a documentation of my mental illness. That's what it's gonna be. But I don't really have, like, a set upload schedule in mind, and I don't want to, because I want, just knocked over a bunch of stuff. I want my videos to be very authentic in that way, where I don't want them to be like according to a structure, where it's like I don't want to have like oh, I'm posting 2 videos a week, I'm posting a video a week, because I feel like that's gonna make it it's gonna set the expectation too high for me coming back so abruptly, and then it's also just like, it's gonna turn it into this structured thing where I'm not gonna have the same degree of joy and motivation that I do. So I want it to be this more relaxed thing. So I don't know, I'm probably going to, what would you guys want first? Okay, you guys can tell me. What would you guys want first? Do you want a threat assessment first, or do you want a watch listed first? Do you think I should go in like balls deep and come back with a watch listed, or should I kind of tiptoe in a little bit, you know, go in a little slow at first and start off with a threat assessment? Like, what do you guys think I should do? You tell me. I'm sorry if this video has been very delirious and ranty and strange and not making any freaking sense. I didn't really have a plan for it. Just wanted to film myself doing some makeup and talk about my channel. But it's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where this channel's gonna go. I never really had a vision of this channel becoming like some huge like million sub thing or anything like that. Like I don't know if I even really want that. Like I want growth, and I was enjoying the engagement and growth that I got. But honestly, I don't feel like I want this channel to become anything big. I want it to stay relatively small, right? Like I want to be able to enjoy your company as like my weird little internet friends. And I want us to have like our own inside jokes and our own little world of topics and things like that. I don't want it to become some weird, you know, 100,000 plus channel. I don't know if I want that for it. So I don't really care if it does become that way. And like I said with the videos, I just want it to be like fun. I just want it to be fun and happy. I have my camera on, I'm hanging out, I'm vibing. That's really what I want it to be. So the topics that I have in mind for, I'm not going to reveal the watch listed topic because it's going to be like, I want it to be kind of spooky and interesting. So I'll if you want the watch listed, just say you want the watch listed, but you're not going to know what it is. I know that for threat assessment, a couple of ideas that I had in mind was, one of them was autism moms, which I actually made a really old freaking episode. Like for those of you who are like real and you've been here for a very long time, you will remember the video that I had on autism moms, the episode of like the old school audio only show that I did called Autism Moms. You're gonna remember that one. So that's a topic that I want to do about like autistic moms, or not autistic moms, moms of autistic children that make their entire child's illness about themselves on the internet. So there's that one. Another topic that I 1000% want to cover is redeemed women. And this one is going to be really freaking fun because I know that, kind of like with my incel video, I'm gonna get like the freaking funniest response ever to making this, where it's going to be so many freaking people in my comment section just proving me right about all of the points that I make about women who once, you know, sinned and now they believe in Jesus. So that's the other topic, is redeemed women. That one's gonna be a lot of fun. Our autism moms. There's one more that I'm forgetting. Oh, the other one I wanted to make was on like movie remakes, like stuff like how people are re-releasing games and movies and TV shows and entertainment that we had. So that's another one I wanted to do. So what, you guys tell me, what would you want? Would you want autism moms first? Would you want redeemed women first? Would you want the movie, TV, music, that one first? Tell me which one you'd want first, and I will film a threat assessment for you. Or maybe you want the watch listed first. You want me to go crazy and do that first. Keep in mind, if I do the watch listed first, that's going to take a little bit longer for me to produce. If I do the threat assessment first, which I would prefer, that's going to allow me to get videos up sooner. So you tell me what you want and when you want it, and I will deliver. Are there any series that you guys think I should check out? Because I just told you about Rehab Room, and now he makes like really good videos about different incelish topics that you guys might like. Is there anybody that you think I should subscribe to? Anyone who you think I should start watching, who maybe could help me fill some voids that I have as far as internet fun and entertainment goes? Because it is sad that we don't have so many people anymore. I did watch a bunch of different television series. That was a thing that I did, like during the time that I was riddled with AIDS. I watched a bunch of different movies and internet series and things like that. So there's a lot of new stuff that I've seen. Like I watched all of Stranger Things. It's kind of like what I did with Breaking Bad. Where with Breaking Bad, like I watched that entire series during my senior year of high school, like right before it ended. I watched all of Breaking Bad and then watched the last season when it came out, and that's kind of like what I did with Stranger Things, where I entered late into the game. I was super resistant to watching Stranger Things because I saw it as like some stupid, like, we were born in the 80s and we're gonna shove in your freaking face how much your life sucks because you didn't get to experience the 80s. And this is all like a jerk-off fest for people born in the 80s. Like, the whole energy of it just really freaking pissed me off with that, and I just didn't want to deal with it. Hold on, let me get a hairbrush. But yeah, like I was saying, I watched all of Stranger Things and I was really resistant because I didn't want to deal with that like stupid nostalgic culture nonsense. But one of the things that's funny after I was watching Stranger Things was I was watching Josh from Kiwi Farms was doing a stream, and one of the things he was talking about was how like they're making like the new Harry Potter series where like Snape is black and all this different stuff. And one of the things that Josh was talking about was he was saying like, try to think of a series that came out after like 2013, I think was the year he said. He's like, try to think of a series that came out after 2013 that was like as interesting or gripping as maybe like Harry Potter or like Game of Thrones was to people. And no one could think of anything other than Stranger Things. And what's funny is that even with Stranger Things, it's still, like I just said, this nostalgia jerk-off fantasy show where it's like you don't actually have like much original stuff in there. Like half of the jokes in the show are like references where it's like you'll hear music or you'll like see a poster on the kids' wall for like a movie that was back in the 80s, or they do the Ghostbusters thing. Like it's like, even with that show, which is technically a new series, it's very, very gripping to people. It's still not what it's still not this new, fresh, creative thing that's really engaging to people. So I challenge you to think about that thing that Josh said. Like, can you think of a series that's as engaging as maybe something like Harry Potter that has come out like after Harry Potter? And it's like, you can't think of anything. Where I feel like it's not just in our weird internet culture and it's not just in our fashion, it's in all of our entertainment. And that's really the plot of, you know, the next threat assessment that I want to make, is this idea that everything is just so freaking dead. Like, we don't do anything anymore. Like, we're freaking miserable all the time. No one wants to be freaking creative anymore. So we have nothing to take up these mantles of these things that we once enjoyed as kids. And that's why we have to be so focused on nostalgia and everything else, because we can't have new things. Like, we can't have new things. It's just so frustrating. So I have finished my makeup. I forgot to talk about half of the products I used. I used some Urban Decay Primer Potion. I used my Glaminatrix palette. I used my Charlotte Tilbury palette. I used my eyelash curler from Shiseido. I used Lancome mascara, Glossier Boy Brow, Anastasia Brow Gel. I used a Say bronzer powder from my Cali Contour kit from Smashbox. I used Glossier blush. I used Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter, and I used Lancome lipstick. That was what I used to make my makeup. I completely forgot to tell any of you. But I hope that this video was at least somewhat informative. Very ranty, very rambly, but very informative. because I just can't help myself. I have to turn the camera on, and I didn't feel like writing a script. I just wanted to hang out, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about some of the medical things that I went through, the crazy medical roller coaster, and then trying to fulfill things in my life, in my real life, and taking so much time away from YouTube, and how much I've missed you guys, and how excited I am for coming back. But yeah, think about some of the questions I posed about watch listed and other things, and tell me what you think in the comments. What do you want? When do you want it? And what did you think about some of the things that I talked about? Do you agree with me? Do you think I am completely freaking wrong? What do you think? I'm back.